So welcome back to our next expert here at the Visibility Summit. And I am thrilled to be spending this time with Wendy Page Sterling. She's an intuitive leadership mentor and helps disruptors in business learn to trust their intuition and leverage their I can voice to build a life on their own terms. She's been featured on NBC and Good Day LA. She's a speaker and two-time international best-selling author. With a spiritual and heart-centered approach, she elevates clients to extraordinary heights in life and business, and her influence extends to her podcasts, The Power in the Pause, and her global summit, Amplify Your Abundance, which fosters future leaders. I'm so excited for this conversation because it's just so in sync with what this summit is about. It's about visibility. It's about bringing visibility to the expertise and the causes and the knowledge that you want to bring out to the world. It's how you can grow your business. It's how you can be seen, be heard, and get paid. So Wendy, welcome to the Visibility Summit. I'm so glad you could be here with us, and I'm excited to dive in. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here and to have this conversation with you. So thank you for putting this all together. There's so much value here. So I hope everybody's got their notebooks out and ready to take some good notes.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the first interview that you're hearing in this summit or you've listened to some of the others, but Wendy's exactly right. You're going to want to have pen and paper because the interviews that we've conducted so far have just all been stellar. So Wendy, I'd love to hear, we've read the accolades and where you're at now, but I'd love for you to share a little bit with the audience. How did we get here? How did this become something important in your life and your business?
Sure. So I am doing something that I was not doing even just, I would say even a year ago. I actually transitioned my business even just a year ago, but even 5 years before that, I was doing something different. So, here I am. I'm somebody who's a 20-year corporate veteran. I spent 2 decades leading a sales team in the women's lifestyle space and really worked heavily in the digital ad world. So here I was, being judged by a number every single day with the revenue that I was bringing in for the company that I worked for, the multiple companies that I worked for. And lo and behold, one day, the rug of my life and the foundation of everything I knew for 2 decades came out from underneath me. And I suddenly found myself separated and a divorce pending. And it was one of those moments in our life, any life transition that we have is a wake-up call. And it was a wake-up call where my intuition finally spoke to me again. You see, I had spent most of my childhood doing everything that I wasn't supposed to do, right? Like in my intro, you talked about me being a disruptor. Well, that's who I was as a little girl. I would test boundaries. I was always asking questions. And having come from a family that immigrated to the United States, we want to fit in. So I was anything but that. And throughout my childhood, unfortunately, it was something that got silenced because my family was very concerned about us fitting in and being American. And so it really, it was something that I had silenced for many decades and brought that into my marriage. And then ultimately, when my marriage fell apart, I got access to it once again. And I have to tell you, it is something that I have not stopped listening to. And what my intuition has enabled me to do is to really be visible, whether that's through using my voice, whether that's through taking stages, holding microphones in my hand, whatever that looks like. And ultimately, what visibility has provided me ultimately is the ability to connect with amazing, incredible people who not only have become incredible colleagues, but I've also had the wonderful privilege of being able to assist them in their lives and in their businesses. And so even though I started my first business, my first 7-figure business was as a divorce coach, I left that business because the visibility that I was creating for myself was no longer feeling authentic. And a very big piece of us being visible and really putting ourselves out there has to come with a certain level of authenticity. And I wasn't feeling it in my heart anymore. And so what I decided to do a year ago was to really transition and pivot my business to really supporting business owners who are seeking ways to scale. And the way to scale is through being a disruptor in a more traditional area of business, whether you're an entrepreneur or corporate. And ultimately, ironically, that's what I was doing for my divorce clients. It just wasn't something that, wasn't necessarily the way that I was putting myself out there. So lo and behold, I made the pivot. And as soon as I committed to it and, sort of pivoted the communities that I was a part of and really started networking and again, launching a new podcast, it really enabled me to quickly scale my new business to 6 figures in a very short period of time and really enable me to get my voice out there and to encourage other disruptors, or if you refer to yourself as a unicorn in your field, those are the people that I really love to help support and to give visibility to, because many times we're afraid of what people are going to say and think. And what's really important is understanding that your people are waiting for you. They're waiting for you to take that microphone. They're waiting for you to start that business. And so I hope that today you will be inspired to really embrace your authenticity and to be consistent in your visibility, to be able to put yourself out there and to start creating the ripple that your market is waiting for you to create.
Wow. So much in there that we can unpack. I certainly would not have gathered from how clear you are in your message that this is really a new message for you. But I often find even when people have a new message, it's a culmination of things that they've done. I like to say that experts become experts in one of 3 ways. One is through education. They've set out to get a degree in something, or, trade school, or through coaching, like I want to learn that thing. Or there's experience. Life hands you some things. And in that, living through that life, you become an expert in overcoming something or making your way through something or a solution to that challenge. And then most of the experts that I work with come by way of what I call engineering, which is a combination of experience and education. Things happen, things change, and then you seek to get that knowledge that you may need in order to be able to serve others. So it sounds like that's been a little bit of the case for you. And what I love about experts in our space is, frequently we are taking skill sets that we might have learned in our corporate world, or that we may have used working for others, but now we're bringing them into our own business, into entrepreneurship, into serving others. And it sounds like that's been your case as well. So I love hearing that and seeing that at work. Sorry, my dog is also appreciating you. We had a party here. We had a party here yesterday for my daughter, and they're taking down the monster truck bounce house. So my dog is just making sure that she's providing a little bit of supervision. So sorry about that. But really excited that you're here. Share a little bit about how you're working with clients now. I know you have multiple podcasts, and how is it that you are working with clients and growing this new business? Like, what is an ideal client for you? Obviously, before a client going through a divorce or coming back from a divorce, but who is that ideal person that you can really serve and support today?
Yeah, so the clients that I do support today are typically women who are, 6 and 7 figure business owners already, but they feel burned out. They lack passion in what it is that they're currently doing. They could do what they do in their sleep. They are seeking to do something different, but they know that they can't sacrifice the income to be able to do that. They are also moms. They want to still have the flexibility to be around for their children. And they really truly are at a stage in their life where they want to make an impact. And they are tapped into their intuition. They know that it's there, But it's really about, they come to me because they are seeking support in really trusting the voice that tends to be a whisper. We're really good at listening to that loud ego head voice, and that's what drives us, that's what moves us, that's what is based, is the voice that builds our to-do list. And so why my clients come to me and what I really excel at in working with them is helping them to hear the quieter voice within that is really just begging them to step out of their comfort zone and to trust that when they do that, they're actually not only going to be able to have the same impact and income that they are currently having, they're actually going to have infinite more abundance and impact in their life. And so I think a lot of us feel, especially women, we want security. And so when we can do something in our sleep, it's so easy for us to just keep doing it because, well, why not? I'm good at it, right? That was my excuse for 2 decades and why I stayed in my corporate job. And to be honest, it's why I also stayed doing my divorce business. I'm like, I can do this in my sleep. The problem is that your audience can feel that there's something missing. They can feel that there is a lower vibration, a lower frequency coming through you that is making them more hesitant to really be attracted to you. And, I have one client in particular who is, who I'm thinking of right now, who she has built a massively successful 7-figure business, but she is so just, it doesn't light her up anymore. And so what we've been working on together is really her dipping her toe in, you could call it a side hustle, you can call it whatever it is that you want to, however it makes sense to you or anybody listening. But what we've been doing is she's been kind of dabbling and getting her footing, I should say, in this new business where she is really becoming a disruptor in a very status quo traditional line of work and the type of business that she has, to the point where, she's holding free classes and she's getting over 100 people signing up, results that she has never had before. She had a $20,000 sales day the other day. Like, she's starting to see the impact of what happens when you start putting yourself out there from your heart, which is really where your intuition is speaking to you from, instead of constantly listening to your head.
I love that. I'm seeing this trend with a lot of the experts that, we listen to, that great leadership today isn't that like barreling down and just getting, your way or the highway. In fact, one of the other leaders for this summit I was speaking to, his particular expertise is like diversity and inclusion. But I love how it's coming over here to this side as well. And it's the bottom line, and it's how you're growing your business. And it is a much more holistic way of growing your business and leading your business and leading your team. So I love the theme that's coming out, the theme under the theme of visibility today, that authentic leadership that is so badly needed, not only in our businesses, but in the world today.
Right. So, yeah. And I think that so many times we, if anybody listening is like me, there was a point in time where I got a little nervous because I was always afraid of, like, well, what are people going to say in the circles I'm already in if I start, speaking a little bit differently, if I start, making bold statements. And I think that that's what people are looking for, right? Like, consumers are so wise. Like, they keep getting smarter, right? And so you have to stay true to yourself if you're really going to break through the clutter, because there's a lot of clutter out there. There's a lot of choices. And what I have come to really understand and see is that, if you are somebody who is just starting out, if you are wondering, how do I crack the code? How do I do this? Well, stop doing what everybody else is doing, first of all. and start speaking to a version of you, because that's your client. Your client is a version of you maybe 2 steps ago, and start talking to her. What do you wish that he or she would have said to you? What did you need to hear back then to get you to where you are today? And I think that there's kind of a copycat syndrome happening a little bit, that it's like, oh, well, this person did it that way, so I have to do it that way. Well, no, you don't.
Right.
And to be honest, you're going to have more success if you step out of the status quo and you do it differently. Curiosity is ultimately what I think is going to fuel your ability to be seen by the right people. And do you want people that aren't your ideal clients to see you? I don't want to waste my time. I really don't. I want to be in rooms where people look at me and they go, I want to be like her, or I want to be her best friend, or we need to collaborate together. Those are the people I want to attract. So if you start positioning and thinking about yourself as like, you're this magnet, who do you want to attract? That's how you get visible. That's how you figure out what your message is to be visible with.
Very good. I love this, Wendy. So what's next on the horizon for you? How do you bring visibility into your business? I mean, obviously you're here with us on this summit, but what are some other ways that you've incorporated visibility into your business or you help clients with?
Yeah, I have built every business of mine through networking and collaboration. I mean, I think that we think of visibility, sometimes in a very, narrow-minded space. And the way that I really approach visibility is getting into rooms where your ideal buyers are going to be, to network with people who have audiences that attract a similar type of buyer that you want to be in collaboration with. What has worked for me is speaking. I mean, and it's not just even taking other people's stages. Like you, I have created 12 summits in my career. I have 2 podcasts, one of which I only record for anymore now. COVID is over, so there's many stages and tons of speaking engagements from a local to a national level that you can get access to. And even, social media has made it so easy for us to be able to connect with people. I can't tell you how many people I have met through LinkedIn and Instagram specifically, where I've been following them and I just send them a DM. Hey, I love your content. I think we could do some really cool things together. Do you want to get on a collaboration call? Like, do you want to jump on a Zoom and see how we can support each other? Because I think that there's synergies that we could help each other with, right? Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing. And ultimately what we all want is to be seen, period. Whether that visibility is on a stage, whether that visibility is on social media, whether that visibility is, in your house, in your personal life, like, we all just want to feel seen and heard. And so if you lead with that lens, that is what is going to propel you, connecting with the right people and getting yourself into communities that are going to foster your ability to thrive and grow. I always say, like, I always want to be like, and this is going to come across kind of bold, but that's who I am. But it's like, I love to be the dumbest person in the room. Like, sign me up. I will be the dumbest person in a room, because the next time I'm the smartest one in the room, it's time for me to leave and go somewhere else. And so don't be afraid to know the least in a room with people. It's a brilliant opportunity for you to ask questions and to connect, because people want to share. They love talking about themselves. So approach any room that you can get into with a complete and utter open mind, and lead with your heart. Give. When you give, you will receive, but don't go into a room expecting to get from people. Walk into a room wanting to give, and just trust that your people are going to want to give in return.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And what a beautiful segue because Wendy, you have some gifts for our audience. I'd love for you to share because obviously these are quick interviews. This is just a taste of, the value that Wendy has for you and the knowledge that she can share with you. So I'm so glad that we've started the conversation, but if you'd like to continue the conversation, you're going to want to go to the dashboard and you're going to want to download the gifts and the resources that Wendy has for you. Can you describe for our audience what they are?
Yeah, absolutely. So for everybody who is participating, I have a guide that I am gifting you that is going to gift you with 5 steps to transform your communication and in a way that you're not doing. And that is through the art of the pause. So you're going to want to check that out because we don't necessarily understand the gifts that are within the pause because it's in the pause that you're able to really tap into your intuition. So I give you guys the opportunity to really start listening more instead of being the one who's always talking, because I think sometimes our silence can be a little bit uncomfortable. So that's number 1. And then for those of you who have opted in for the VIP option, you guys are going to get another guide that are my 3 go-to, and I teach these to my clients. It is the 3 ways that you can start unlocking your intuition starting today. And because that is where the magic lays. So you're going to get some practical tips, some practices, some strategies to really be able to start paying attention to what your intuition sounds like, because it's going to be different from anybody else's. So you're going to want to go ahead and grab that.
Yes, you are. Both super, super valuable. In fact, all of our experts, if you have not yet upgraded to VIP, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. You're going to have access to these recordings while we're going to have them live and available for you at the end of June. You may not be able to hear them all in 3 days, or you may want to go back and have the opportunity to re-listen to some of these valuable interviews and presentations to really get everything out of them that you can. So you're going to want to upgrade to VIP so that you can have access to those recordings. You can go back to them. You can listen to any that you might have missed along the way. And you're going to get access to a second dashboard with all of those VIP gifts, any one of which well worth the price of the upgrade. But combined, we don't have a total yet, but it will be in the thousands of dollars of practical value for you. So I encourage you, go ahead and upgrade to VIP. If you, prior to upgrading to VIP, you'll see gifts from all of our speakers on the main dashboard. Just click that button. You'll get access to our speakers because we want you to continue the conversation. This is just the beginning of the conversation. We want you to collaborate. We want you to reach out to these experts. We want you to continue to grow your business. If you are a new entrepreneur or you're a more seasoned entrepreneur, we want you to find those that are going to help you continue the conversation and get closer and closer to the visibility that you seek for the causes that are important to you, for your business, for your life. You're going to want to continue the conversation with Wendy. So definitely take advantage of that. Wendy, I appreciate you being here with us today. Do you have parting words, any parting comment that you'd like to share with the audience?
I would really love for each of you guys, after you finish watching this interview, go be visible. Whether that is picking up the phone and calling somebody to offer your services, whether that's going on social media and making a post, whether that's sending that email to somebody that you've been holding back because you haven't felt good enough, please just do it. Your audience is waiting for you and nobody is going to give you permission. You've got to give it to yourself. So please go be visible. Your message deserves to be heard, and I am rooting you on. I'm here, and I'm telling you that you can do this. That it's something you should be doing. So stop putting it off.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Wendy. I've really enjoyed this time together, and I appreciate you, our Visibility Summit audience. Please avail yourself of all of these incredible 30 experts that we're bringing together for this summit. continue the conversation. And we want to hear from you. What good is coming for you as a result of this summit? So tune in for another incredible expert we'll be bringing to you shortly.